ready to go? No, not yet. Okay.
Are we dealing with these together or separate? 20 and 21?
20, I think two together. 20. Yes, yeah, yes.
We do them combined?
All right, I'm ready. Okay. Good afternoon and welcome to Committee Adjustment. In accordance with the Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provision of the zoning that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and also consent to survey property to create new lots. My name is Yim Chen. I will be chairing today's meeting. And I also like to introduce our member on the panel today. To my left is Mr. Clay, and to my Nasila West, and also Mr. Bayat. And we also like to acknowledge that the land we are meeting is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anasazi, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. It is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connected with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the options of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you will also mute your devices until you're called to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled and you will be visible during your 5-minute speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be restated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. How to receive a decision of the committee? People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out the decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of committee, you might be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decision. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. Now we'll introduce the hearing procedure. I will call out each item in the order listed on the agenda. When you are making your submission, when an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with the presentation if desired. When the committee does not require presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee, and I will comment when your 5 minutes is reaching. Yeah, any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposal at the hearing day. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or the agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speaker, and this will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for decision. And we don't have to, yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. Now we can begin our afternoon session. The item number 1 is, item number 20 is
Through you, Madam Chair.
22.
Sorry. There is one request for deferral. For
Okay, we should deal with that. Right? Yes.
So item number 28, and it's
Yes.
68 Roxton Road, file number A0516/24TEY.
Do we have the agent with us, or we have?
We do have
notice?
the agent, and we do have one registered speaker in opposition, but if the agent is requesting deferral, then we would only listen or hear to the deferral request.
Okay, do we have to read out what the application is?
Yes.
Okay, there, for 28, okay, 28 is 68 Roxton Road. This is to alter existing two-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear second-story addition with an attached rear deck and a rear ground floor deck and stairs, and also alter the existing rear detached garage by constructing a complete second-story addition for the purpose of accommodating a garden suite. The 3 existing parking spaces within the garage will be maintained. There will be 3 dwelling units, 2 units within the main house and 1 unit in the garden suite. And they are seeking for 9 variances. Yeah. And we need to read the material we received?
Yeah, there's only 3.
Okay. All right. I don't know whether I have that. Okay, on this file, we received a copy of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 2 photographs of the property, and a deferral request from the agent.
Okay, so at this time, we'll unmute the agent so we can hear the deferral request. Raymond?
Yeah, good afternoon, Chair.
Sorry, Raymond, you have to speak louder. We can't hear you.
Okay. So good afternoon. It's Raymond Jemba from SGL Planning and Design.
Okay. Yes. We're going to just deal with the request, deferral request. I'm sorry. Can you tell us the reason why, please?
Yes, certainly. So there's just been some ongoing discussions with the neighbor to the south that expressed some concerns, and the applicant would like to have some additional meetings with them to address their
Okay.
concerns with future application.
Yeah, to the south, right? What number is this, the property that you want to talk to further?
66 Roxton.
66, okay. Yeah, thank you. All right, so do we have someone else want to comment on the
Yes,
deferral?
We'll unmute the one speaker, and then we'll just ask them if they're
Yeah.
in support or against the deferral request.
Yes,
Katarina, you've been unmuted.
Katerina, can you hear us?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
yes, the applicants requested a deferral. We just want to know whether you support, you're supporting it or you're opposing that? Yeah.
I'm in support in consideration of ongoing discussions as they've outlined. Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Yeah, and, yep. The next, anyone want?
And then we'll just go back to the agent.
Okay.
Hi, Raymond.
Yes,
Yes.
so, yeah, she's also in support, so yeah, I think that you can use the time to carry on further discussion with them. Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
so do we have a motion? Mr. Byett has a motion, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move a motion to defer this application.
Yeah, so that allow them to to talk to the neighbors, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Anyone second?
I'll second it.
Ms. West second, and all in favor for deferral? All in favor, yeah. It's number 28 is deferred. Now,
Through you, Madam Chair, we don't have any files that need to be closed for this afternoon, and we should check to see if there's anyone that's declaring a conflict for any one of
Yes,
the applications being heard this afternoon. So see none. Okay, and we can deal with items 20 and 21 together.
together, right? Yeah. So number 20 is 59 Jones Avenue, Part 2. And number 21 is 59 Jones Avenue, Part 1. And just make the purpose for this application is to legalize and to maintain the front integral garage, which was constructed beyond the limits of the approved building permit, and also to alter the new 3-story semi-detached dwelling, which is currently under construction, by permitting a rear third-story addition. And number 21, the purpose is very similar. It's also to legalize, to maintain the front integral garage, and which was constructed beyond the limits of the approved building permit, and also to alter the 3-story semi-detached dwelling, which is currently under construction, by permitting a rear third-story addition. And they both seeking 3 variances. And on this file, both files, we receive survey, site plan, floor plan, elevations, revised site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 2 photographs of tree, and a cover letter from the agent, and a previous decision affecting the property, and tree protection plan, and an order to comply issue. And we receive comment from community planning, and also we receive opposition from two letters of opposition from Jones Avenue, and also 3, I believe, and 4. So they're all from Jones Avenue. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online. We do have one person here speaking in opposition, and we do have one person online speaking in concern.
Okay, let's have the agent.
Olu Sola, you can unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, committee members. My name is Olushola Oyelade.
Yes.
From 117 Peter Street, Toronto, Unit 203. I'm the agent representing Diadem Canada on these two properties.
Yes. All right.
Basically, we have a permit that is ongoing, and the building is almost nearing completion.
It's just one sec. Okay. Yeah, because you do have to give us a presentation, but I want to make sure that there is time, you start to time the clock properly. We can start now. Yeah, please, yeah.
Okay, thank you. The purpose of this minor variance is actually twofold. One, the first two variances are about maybe some dimensional errors in construction. The garage, even though was approved as part of the building plan, it's overshooting by 0.14 meters. That's 140 millimeters outside.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, we do have a little bit of trouble hearing you. Can you speak up a little bit, or maybe more clearly to the phone, to the mic?
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, and then maybe yeah. Okay, we can start now. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So the minor variances that we're asking for, two relate to construction dimensional errors. While the building was being set out, they missed out the dimension by 140 millimeters. So that's why the planning department advised that we should ask for legalization of that minor error. The main variance that we're asking for is actually to build up the roof terrace to a bedroom. If you go to the cover letter, you would see that the original plan that was approved by the city put 2-bedroom in on second level. So, and the 2 bedrooms are kind of tight. So we're proposing that that space should be good enough for a bedroom. And if we can repeat that on top, that would be better for the project. Now, we have not increased the occupancy of the building. The bedroom is still free. The only thing that we're doing is we're utilizing the already available space on the roof terrace to create another bedroom. And the advantages of this are a lot. First, to the owner of the building, the rooms are more sizable now for use. And then apart from that, to the neighbors, the roof terrace overlook the gardens of all the other backyards within the neighborhood. But with the bedroom there, it restricts the this privacy issue with them, and I think it's going to help the neighbors in that sense. The roof area has not increased because the same footprint is still maintained. Nothing has changed in terms of water runs or the compound as far as this proposal is concerned. Mm-hmm. And I think basically the building itself, in terms of massing, is not anywhere different from all the neighbors around. If you look at the cover letter, you'll see some pictures of adjoining properties. You see that behind, we have a 4-story building, which is far taller than this building in question. On the side, we also have neighbors that the height is even far taller than this building. So, and if you look across the street, it's the same. you see buildings that are even taller and with more mass in the neighborhood. So I think in keeping with the general view of the environment, that this project is similar to everything that you can see on Jones Street. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to
Yeah,
ask
I know we've
question?
got
Yeah.
speakers lined up, but I'm struggling a little bit with understanding this application. So maybe we can just clarify them, go to the
Yeah,
speakers.
yeah, please, yeah, I do too, yeah, I do.
I'm to the applicant, I'm having a little difficulty with, like, I understand you originally had approval for a terrace off the third story. You have enclosed that in and expanded a bedroom. I get that. I'm struggling with the front garage. I thought I heard you say that you had a building permit approval for it, but it sounds like you've exceeded that. So I'd like to understand exactly the front garage issue. And in addition, I'm struggling with variance number 3. I don't quite understand variance number 3. If you've got a garage, this is a variance for a parking space. Does that mean you can't fit the car in the garage? Or are you planning to have a second parking spot? Maybe you can just clarify the integral garage issue and the parking spot issue for us.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, let's,
Okay. So the garage issue is, the garage is in the permit that we have. But the length of the garage, instead of it to be 5.6 meters, it ended up to be 5.46 when it's done, as is on site. So it's the difference of 0.14 meters that we're asking you to waive for us.
So this is only in respect for the garage. You're not planning to park on the front of the
only in
yard.
respect to the garage, that's all.
And what's the issue with is that the same issue with the building permit? You had a building permit to construct a garage of a certain size, and the garage was constructed smaller than what you got approval for?
Yes, that's what, it's slightly smaller by 0.14 meters. That's 140 millimeters.
Right, okay. That's helpful, thank you.
oh, yeah. I have another question just to clarify. All this is already been built, right? Including the extra bedroom at the back, right? Yeah, I see.
No. The building as is right now is according to the permits.
Okay.
Issue.
And then,
The third floor terrace that we want to convert to a bedroom has not been built.
so you're going to, that will be what we see in the photograph here. It will be
Exactly. That's what you
another
see in the
floor.
photograph here. On top of the terrace,
top.
on top of that terrace, we're going to now
Will be
put a
another
bed.
floor.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
Exactly.
that I'd like to clarify. Okay, we do have another question, Mr. Bayo.
Very quick question. So I think it's drawing number A7 that says this new bedroom on the third floor is proposed as a replacement. Has that been built already or not yet?
That's the one I just asked.
Yeah, the one you
not
just
yet.
asked. It's not been
yet.
built.
Yeah.
It's not been
another-
built.
My question, I suppose, would be that if that bedroom has not yet been built,
Yes.
and if it's modified in some fashion, you'd presumably be able to meet the planning staff's requirement that the FSI be presumably reduced?
Okay, the FSI that we have is maximized to what the permit is right now. And if you go to the cover notes, you would see what I'm talking about in the last page, where I highlighted the plan. Go to the last page. Yes, so if you look at the plan itself, you see that the 2 bedrooms, there's kind of, that's how my client inherited it from the last owner. But they are not practical rooms because they are just too small. So, and we find that just having that whole space to be an ensuite bedroom is much better. That's why we think that, okay, why don't we have that on the roof terrace also, so that we maintain the 3 bedrooms?
Thank you.
Okay. So we have no more questions now. Maybe later on. We are ready for the next speaker. We are ready for the next speaker. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair. First, we're going to hear from the person here in person. So Mr. Anderson, if you can come up to the podium. Sure, we can. Sure, okay. So we can unmute Daniel at 53 Jones Avenue. Hello, Daniel?
Hello, guys. Hi, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, just a little bit louder.
Hello? Oh, just one second. Let me just change this real quick. Is this a little bit better?
Yeah,
Yep.
perfect, thank you.
Okay, excellent. Hello, councilors. Thank you so much. I'm Daniel McMahon, 53 Jones Avenue, the neighbor of this property being built, in objection of some of the things going on here. Right now, we have the building that is over coverage for this lot already, and we're having some issues with some rainwater because of it. There's not enough yard here to take care of the rainwater that's coming off this roof. The neighbors over at 53 and the adjoining lots, we're kind of in a pickle. We're at a very low elevation on our grade. Our backyard lot is 10 feet different grade from the front sidewalk. It's 3 feet difference from the new construction that's being done. And from the rear existing lots, we have a 10-foot elevation difference over the course of 20 feet. It leaves us in an area that's very prone to flooding and very prone to water gathering. We've kind of gotten to a point where we've been able to handle it, but now with this new construction, we're really having some issues. They're having issues pumping water out as well and having their own land take care of the water. Big concern about this already being too high is that we're not getting enough sunlight in the back to promote evaporation. And we are concerned that if this terrace gets built out, well, right now there's no terrace, like the terrace exists and it creates a step back, which allows more light to hit the back. So we are opposed of this terrace being built into a bedroom, as we're already over lot coverage and we're already having issues with water drainage as well. That's basically what I need to say about that, the lot coverage and the terrace. And moving on to the front garage. They have 2 garages there, despite what the dimensions are, that cannot accommodate cars. And that's a really large issue for us and the residents of Jones Avenue, as we are underserviced for parking on this street. If they go ahead and allow the garages and the garage curb cutouts, that's effectively going to take up 4 parking spaces. That would be 2 spots reserved for the curb cutouts and 2 spots theoretically taken up by the new residents of this building, allowing for a disappearance of 4 parking spaces in this area. Super large concern as well is that we are undergoing a change on this street that is going to eliminate 30 parking spaces between Queen and Dundas. That's a 100-yard space of road that is going to be 30 3 spaces removed in the very near future. And if this proposal goes through, that these undersized garages go through, then we're going to be making that 34 spaces that are not available as well. These are the large concerns that we have on this. And what else do we have? You know, I think that's just about everything I have on that. Thank you so much for letting me speak on this.
Thank you. Any question to this speaker? Yeah. Yes, we do have a question.
I just want to follow up. So I seem to be fixated on this garage. You're saying that you can't, they wouldn't be able to fit a car in there?
Yeah, not only is it too short, like I know the dimensions are what they are, but the garages are undersized as it is. Even if they, like, it's really not going to be feasible for today's modern cars. I imagine anyone purchasing this will be purchasing quite a large car as well, as is the trend, and it will not be able to fit a car in this garage.
I noticed the dimensions are 5.5 meters by just over 2.5 meters wide.
Mm-hmm. Then we also have to consider, although it's not reflected in the plan, there's also going to be a step created for the door. The door to the hallway entrance is going to have a step constructed in the garage, also eliminating about another 3 feet.
Oh, that's not shown on the plans.
Yeah, I don't see that either.
Okay, we'll ask the agent that. Thank you.
I see. It's not the same as what is built?
Yeah.
Not too sure. Okay. And any more question to this speaker? So, okay.
Through you, Madam Chair, we can now hear from Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Can you hear me on this? Do I have to push any buttons? Okay. Hi, my name is Mike Anderson. I live at 55 Jones Avenue. I am the direct neighbor to this building. I am in opposition of all 3 variances, or all 6 variances, however you want to classify them. This building's been under construction for over 2 years now, and living beside it has not been enjoyable. I find, although they claim they have built houses before, I believe this is the first house they've ever constructed. I'm trying to stick to the points. They dug too deep. They dug too close to my house. My house shifted. They had to put in shoring. They dug under the shoring. They prevented me from using my backyard through the side for 8 months, 9 months, because it was just unsafe to go through. I find that the cover letter they sent is very much misrepresents Jones Avenue. They only showed you photos of 3-story houses, which represents about 10% of the street. The rest of the street is all 2-story houses and a handful of bungalows or 1-story houses. As Dan mentioned, the garages are too small to house a car, and yes, it will take up more parking spaces than it's going to take up 4 parking spaces, and as Dan mentioned, we are losing parking spaces due to a bike path being built. Again, with the flooding issue, like the building or buildings that are built are already too big for the lot size. Every time it rains, my backyard floods, my house floods. I've had the city there, and they've claimed that they are in compliance, but so I'm in the process of doing what I can to fix that, building barriers and dams to keep the water on their side. In terms of turning the terrace into a bedroom, again, I'm against that, as is my family. That the building is already bigger than longer than our house, so it already obstructs our view, of the sky and the sunlight. Building this would further take away any view or any skylight that we receive. I don't know. I feel like it's taken 2 years to get to this point. To grant them any further permits, this house is never going to be finished. Well,
But you finished? Can we?
Sure,
You have
yes.
questions? Yeah, I actually have a question. So
Sure.
I know the frustration of living with constructions for sure, but I just want to ask, they actually asking for 3 variances. In your opinion, in your presentation, do you actually, besides the construction issue, you will think that these do not will create more impact on you if this variance are approved?
yes, I mean, the first variance saying that their floor space is 1.3 times the area of the lot when it's only supposed to be 1.6. I mean, it's already more than twice as big as it's supposed to be. I don't anticipate you're going to ask them to tear the house down, so there's nothing I can do for that variance. For variance number 2, which I believe is turning the terrace into a bedroom, that will definitely impact my enjoyment of my house and my family's enjoyment, as well as the neighbors around us. And for the garage as well, you have a garage that can't fit a car, and then when the people who buy the house will move in, they'll have to get street parking. If your goal is to get more bedroom space, turn the garage into a bedroom.
Okay. Yes. All right. Thank you. Yeah, that's my question. All right. Any more questions to this speaker? No. Then we can. The next speakers then. Yeah.
Thank you.
For you, Madam Chair. Now we can go back to the agent.
Okay, Madam Chair, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Just a little bit louder, okay?
Okay. I do understand and share the concerns of our neighbors, but their concerns is outside of the request that we're making. Number one, the garage is not in contention. The garage has been we have been given permit for the garage. What we're asking for in variance on the garage is the slight dimensional error of 140 mm. That's just basically what it is. As per whether the garage can take a car, I think the garage can take a car. On the variance of changing or converting the terrace to a bedroom, we're not doing something that is strange to Jones Street. Even our neighbor on right across, on the left, the building is built higher than this property and is longer than the property. And everyone on Jones Street is supposed to drain their water within their compound. So, and we are not increasing, we are not increasing the water on the compound by going up with this bedroom. The roof area is still the same. The collection of water is still the same, and it has been approved by the city. We are in compliance on that one. So I think that in terms of privacy of others, that the bedroom helps to give better privacy to the neighbors. Then apart from that, even behind us, we have a 4-story building right across the area. And I don't see how this building is going to impact sunlight directly into our neighbors, because already we are being shaded by these 2 other properties that are taller than us in the neighborhood. And you can refer to my, if you look at figures 1 and 2 in the cover note, you'll see that the building next door is already taller. Building behind in figure 8 is already taller. So the area is already shaded anyway, so we are in shade in this area.
Okay. Any questions? I do have a couple of questions to ask you. The first one is that when I look at your order to comply, it has never mentioned very little relating to the variances. Because both letter of order to comply is mentioned that you have built something that is not as described by the survey. It's mainly the setbacks. So what is in your proposal? Is it reflecting the correct numbers on the survey now? And
yes.
You still do not require setback variance, right?
Yes, so what the compliance that they're asking us to do is to comply with the already given permits. And that is, the reason why we're here is because that is impossible because the building is already up. So that's why we came back to you to ask for extra approval for these minor dimensional errors.
Okay. As the second question is, can you, since you already got a building permit to build up to now, right, you said, can
Yes.
you tell us what is the approved FSI compared to the new one you're asking?
The approved FSI is 1.05.
1.05. Okay,
Yes.
that's useful to know. Yeah.
Can I just follow up on the chair's question about the setback? So you weren't in compliance because you built too close to the road. Is the reason you now need a variance for a smaller garage is because you had to move the garage back to 1.5? Like, did you have to change the orientation of the garage?
No. The garage orientation is the same, exactly the same. The reason why we are missing the 140 mm is because when the building was being set out, they set it out slightly wrongly by shifting it forward a bit by 140 mm.
I'm not sure I understand.
So,
No.
okay, what I'm
Can
saying
you
is that
can you go?
they-
Can you repeat that
if you
one
go
more
to-
time?
I'm missing
If you
this
go
entirely.
to the as-built survey,
As built
as-built
survey.
survey,
Oh,
Yes.
I see.
yeah, if you go to the as-built survey, you see that while this building was being set out, that's when these frontal setbacks were missed by 140 mm from the original approved plan.
So are you saying this survey was incorrect?
This is the correct survey.
But the one that was looked at and resulted in the order to comply, that was incorrect?
No, the order to comply was based on this as-built survey. If you look at the old permit that we have, the setbacks are as you approved it before. So where the setback is,
More confused.
So you in the previous committee of adjustment, you received approval for a variance
Yes.
to the front yard setback? Is that what you're saying?
that's what I'm saying, yes.
But why is then there an order to comply?
Yes, so when they were setting out this building, the setting out was missed by 140 mm. So the foundation was built forward by 140 mm. So when the contractor was building the garage, in order to comply, it moved it back by 140 mm. So that's what is missing in the garage dimension.
Right, so that's what I thought I started out asking, is that in order to meet the setback requirements, you had to move the garage back.
Yes.
Okay, that's,
Yeah.
when I asked that question initially, and you said, no, that wasn't the case, so that's why I'm confused.
Yeah.
Okay, and then as a consequence of that, I presume that's why you're looking now for a variance for the size of the parking, because you had to move the garage back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, to follow up on my colleague's question, one of the neighbors has indicated, both neighbors have indicated that it's impossible to park a car in that garage, in part because you're building a step and a couple of other things. So can you and will your client be parking cars in that garage?
You can, and there will be parking cars in the garage. And there's only one step to get inside, which has no impact on on parking.
Okay, so your vehicles, you will be parking and using the garage to store vehicles?
Yes.
Okay,
Small vehicle.
with a bent corner. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Maybe the last questions, in the staff report which we have reviewed, the community planning has requested you reduce the FSI, and then and then they said that at the end they're still not satisfied with what you're asking. Do you have any idea how much they want you to? What is being discussed about the target FSI? Do you have a figure?
Okay, so I spoke with the city staff on that. They were saying that we have to keep to the old FSI,
Which is 1.05.
which is 1.05.
Yeah, it's
And I said,
basically they do
purpose
not
of-
want you to build that extra bedroom on the.
yeah, they don't want me to build the extra bedroom on the back side. And I explained to them that massing is different from FSI, that it is more productive for this project and because it's also in compliance with whatever other buildings that you have on Jones Street, to have a bedroom that is sizable, that is usable, instead of the ones that was approved there before.
I see, they want you to stick with that one. Yeah, that's useful to know the discussion. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Maybe I'll just throw one question in. If variance number 1 is refused, as per planning staff's request, what does that do to your project?
It's going to impact it greatly, because there are 3 bedrooms in the permit. If you go back to my cover notes and you take a look at it, you see that those 2 bedrooms are just too tight for a meaningful living standard. So it's just going to make the building so tight that it's almost impossible to do anything in that bedroom. So, and if we turn that part into 1 bedroom, we're just going to be having 2 bedroom, and it's desirable based on the investment that has been made so far to have at least 3 bedrooms in this building.
Just a quick follow-up on that one. So originally, was the house supposed to be a 2-bedroom unit with a terrace on the top?
It's supposed to be 3 bedroom with a terrace on the top. So,
Okay, and one of the bedrooms would have been far too small, so get rid of the terrace and put in a big...
2 of the bedrooms would have been too small that they are just difficult to live in.
Yeah.
It's just take the bed and that's it.
It almost sounds as if the project was ill-conceived right from the beginning, wanting too much on too small a space?
Well, I think my client bought it without understanding the full import of the dimensions, right? So when I took over the project and I looked at it and I thought, okay, while they were asking for the first variants initially, they could have asked for what I'm asking for now, and it could have been approved because it would have been in line with what is within the community.
I take it you took over the project from somebody else prior to you, it sounds like.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? So we do not have any more questions for you. So we are in committee now. Can I start with some comment? See, I'm just, if we can bring up the rear yard view, is the photograph after A1. What my feeling is this, since it's true, the original design is actually the bedroom are pretty small, the building is pretty small. So you look at this at least in the photograph, the rear yard. This is the front. This one. Yeah. The building on the right is already like a 1 story higher and sticking out a lot more. What they are proposing is almost matching in terms of height, but still the building is set back from the building on the right. So that's one thing I want to just you observe. That the other one is also when you really look at the FSI and then the building itself, the total area for a 3-bedroom house is 100. The proposed one, the 1.35 times, is 140 square meter. So it's a very small, moderate house in terms of modern standard, I guess. And that's, I can see the reason why they want to ask for that extra. That's it. Okay, that's my comment. I'd like to hear also your participation. Yeah, it's hard to understand in the beginning because of all the compliance also doesn't see any relationship with what they're asking. But
First of all, I'm sympathetic for the neighbors. What I did hear mostly from the neighbors was issues about construction, issues about water, concern about consequential impact, particularly during this phase. And totally understand that you folks will appreciate that's kind of beyond us. That's the building department, that's compliance, that's inspections to make sure that all that happens. And every lot is required to ensure that it manages its own water without impacting on the neighbors. And if that's an issue, that needs to be brought forward to the city. And I think you mentioned you already did, and they said, they're in compliance. So it's kind of beyond us. I was really fussing with probably too much the garage. I think I now fully understand is that they've had to pull it back a little bit because of the setback requirements. So on the surface of it, I went and I looked at the dimensions of the average car. It will quite easily fit an average car. Whether it actually gets used or not, I don't know, but that's, again, not something we can tell. When questioned, the agent said that it will fit a car. Both of them will fit cars. So we have to take them at their word that in fact is the case. On the 3rd story, there's 2 ways of looking at this. Some people are really concerned when they see a terrace, a 3rd story terrace, because they're concerned about overlook and they're concerned about privacy. So this one did have a terrace, which would have had those overlook and privacy concerns. Now they're eliminating that terrace and providing a bedroom back there. So there won't be, I don't think, the same kind of privacy or overlook considerations that there might have been in the old application. So I don't see this as being dramatically more. And as the chair pointed out, the structure, I guess that's the rear, looking to the right, is already a 3-story that is already higher, right? So I'm not sure the impact is going to be that dramatic. I would suggest that having a bedroom back there is probably going to have less of an impact than a terrace. So while I initially was concerned about this application, as we've talked it through and as I've listened and as I've understood it a little bit better, I'm comfortable with with what is before us.
And also, you're concerned about rainwater. It's actually, as you say, every property should look, this by law, you have to take care of your own water runoff. But by adding that, the third floor bedroom, it's not changing the footprint of the building at all. So it's not going to make it worse in that case. So it will be the same amount of runoff. Yes.
Anyways, that's my view.
Yeah, okay. So any other comment? And do we have a motion on the floor?
I'll move a motion if there's no more comments.
Okay, yes.
Based on the discussion that we've had, and the clarification of this application now as we understand it, I think notwithstanding planning's recommendation to refuse this, I'm a little bit concerned, frankly, about the process where discussion happened and the applicant was seemingly unwilling to do anything with it. I don't think, given the context, that this is incrementally going to have any real more impact than it already does. So I'll move approval of this application. And I don't believe there are any conditions.
I don't see any condition here.
Is there a condition?
No,
No
it
conditions.
was just the planning condition that was
Right.
there originally.
Okay.
Yeah. So would like to have a second? Mr. Bayer, second. And all in favor for both 20 and 21? I think. 3-1. Yeah. Can you? You can give some comment why you oppose? It's fine. Yeah.
Well, I opposing the motion, but will carry. I was just this application from 2016 go COA, then 2018 OMB, 221 COA Committee of Adjustment, and then back on Committee of Adjustment. I understand that the owner have been changed, like they said they took over of someone else, but I was mostly agree with staff that FSI, once they get approval, that's probably was beyond the acceptance. So I'm just my decision more lean toward the staff
report. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. So we 3-1 approve, and Ms. West dissents. Okay. Thank you. So are we done with the two? Number 22 is by itself, right? Number 22 is 257 Dunvegan Road. This application is to construct a new 3-story detached dwelling with a front integral garage and a front covered porch, a rear 2-story Juliet balcony, and a rear 3-story balcony. And also, there's a 1-story auxiliary building, which is a cabana, and an in-ground swimming pool in the rear yard. They are seeking for 8 variances. And on this, we have received a copy of the minute of the last public hearing and a copy of survey, site plan, floor plan, elevations, cover letter, from the agent and also decision affecting the property, arborist report, and preliminary draining study and presentation material from agent and revised site plan, email corresponding about the revised plans and presentation material. We have received comment from forestry, urban forestry, and also we received another tree protection from urban forestry. And we received a letter from Councillor George Malo and a support letter from 69 Old Forest Road. And that's all we have received, yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, there's another page.
Another page.
Sorry, there's more
Oh.
more correspondence.
Oh, yes, the old yellow, yes, I sorry, I missed that. And also corresponding, in support of Matt Diamond on behalf of 280 Forestry Road, and also 3 letters in support by 71 for Old Forest Road, and 251 and 249 Dunvegan. And we have also a letter of concern from 259 Dunvegan. And no, I haven't finished, sorry. Yes, we have received opposition. Now that's the list of opposition. From 275 Forestry Road and 276, and also 73 Old Forestry Hill Drive. We also received oppositions from 255 Dunvegan, 270 Forestry Hill Road, and also 282 Dunvegan, and also 272 Forestry Road, and 2 letters in opposition from 284 and 255, 284 Forestry Hill Road and 255 Dunvegan.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online. We do have 2 people here in speaking in opposition, and we also have 1 person online speaking in opposition.
All right, let's have the agent, yeah.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. It's David Bronskill, Bronskill, 333 Bay Street, Suite 3400, Toronto, Ontario, here as agent for the applicant.
Yes, you do have a few oppositions here. We require a presentation from you, 5 minutes, Mr. Bronskill, yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to start with somewhere where I don't normally start, Madam Chair, and that's that there are some suggestions in the correspondence that there hasn't been additional consultation since the deferral when we were last before you. I would just say to you, Madam Chair, I don't want this to turn into a tit for tat in terms of that issue, but I can advise the panel that as part of the revisions, summary packages were sent out to all the neighbors. Our clients have gone door to door around the entire block. There have been conversations with several neighbors about the revised plans, including both neighbors on each side. They have tried to talk to different people. There are some neighbors who met with our clients briefly, and they were pleasant discussions, but they were not detailed discussions. And there was a suggestion that they would get back to our clients before letters were filed that we're not necessarily sure are accurate. My only point, Madam Chair, is I think there has been consultation, and as I've said to this panel before, consultation doesn't necessarily mean capitulation. It is fine to have honest disagreement, but I don't think that's the basis for which the committee should be reviewing this application. We have revised since the last time we were here. You'll recall there is a significant tree at the northwest portion. There's been extensive redesign to pull back the side yard setback, slightly reduce the depth on that side so that that tree is now preserved. And staff have just circled it there for you. And that was a significant matter. There has also been a reduction, and through you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Byatt, of the underground, which was a longer length and depth. That has been pulled back, so it's in line with the foundation for the one-story section. Okay. I wanted then just to talk quickly about those variances from a numeric perspective. As we always do, Madam Chair, and I've done with you earlier today, we've included in the package slides for the FSI and slides for the length depth in terms of numbers. The FSI at 82.03 is well within the range of FSIs approved in the neighborhood. It is completely in line with from a quantitative perspective. What I wanted to spend a little bit of time before I listen to those in opposition with you through the panel is about the length and depth. And if I could ask staff just to take you back to the site plan, there's a real design rationale for what's being done here. And I wanted to focus in on two things for you. One is the existing and sizable garage that is being demolished at the back. And the other is the actual length or depth of the portion of the house that isn't the one-story family room. So you can see on that site plan, the depth there of that actual non-one-story portion, so the balance of the house, is 19.21 meters. That is a very conventional depth. It is in fact 0.21 meters over what would be allowed in the bylaw. So the additional variance that is being sought is really to the one-story section that is at the rear. That's the length and depth that appears to be so contentious. What I can say to the committee is we have pulled that back so that it's got a greater side yard setback on these plans, adjacent to the neighbor. And what is really important, I think, to understand is there is a sizable, and it's in green there, existing garage that is being demolished that in fact has more of an impact from a massing perspective on their rear yards. That's being demolished. There's an internal integral garage that is being included at the front from the driveway. And so really what's happening is that massing of the garage is in fact being reduced and simply joined to the house, and will actually represent an improvement in terms of massing impact on the neighbor directly to the east, because that sizable built form of the garage will be removed. And instead, there's a smaller one-story section that is being replaced, and then the garage will simply be accessed at the front. It's actually an overall improvement in terms of the massing, and it's only a one-story family room that's being added there, and it's only for a portion of the home. So from a qualitative perspective in terms of what's being proposed, it's frankly quite conventional. The number is in keeping with what's in the area. The main portion of the house has a depth of, as I indicated to you, just over 19 meters. And it's just that one-story section, which frankly represents a significant reduction from the massing of that rear garage. It's a two-car garage that's there at the rear. So qualitatively, we think this fits in. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm here to listen and obviously answer any questions that the panel may have.
Chair, just before we go to speakers, one clarification.
Yes.
Mr. Bronska, you've seen, as of we, Forestry's recommendation to refuse variance number 8, which is, I think, in reference to the tree. You mentioned that you have done a significant redesign and the tree is going to be preserved. Is that the same tree that Forestry is concerned about?
It's a different tree. So it's interesting here. There's 3 forestry staff reports in front of you. One is the form report that checks refuse. There's another letter that deals with the tree I was mentioning to you that suggests as part of the permit process, it's almost advisory, suggests as part of the permit process, there's a patio there, there's a pathway there. They're actually helpful comments in terms of saying, redesign, minimize encroachments, look at what you can do in that tree protection zone as part of the landscaping. So there's that memo. There's then a third memo, and it addresses the tree directly to the east. It's labeled as tree 5, and staff are showing it to you there. We've got a side yard setback that frankly sits in the tree protection zone, but we're not proposing to remove that tree. There would be a request to injure because there is an intrusion into the tree protection zone. We've looked at the option of increasing the side yard setback further through you, Madam Chair, to you, Mr. Clay. I mean, at the end of the day, if the committee was concerned that was more than an injure, we'd actually be prepared to remove that variance so that the side wall would actually be outside the tree protection zone. I mean, I think that's what urban forestry staff are recommending. We don't think it's necessary, through you, Madam Chair, to you, Mr. Clay, because it's just a request to injure. But in the end of the day, if it does concern the panel, we'd be prepared to live with the as of right side yard setback on that east side. I hope that addresses the question.
Yes,
through
that
you,
does.
Madam Chair.
Thank you very much.
I see. Okay, any question before we listen to the, yeah, please, yeah.
Mr. Bronskill, just a quick one. The area on the site plan that where the existing garage, the one that's to be demolished, is the space there is blank. I'm not sure what's intended for that space.
Yes, that's the former garage space. It's not a. I'm just going to see if I can just pull something up on my computer as I'm answering your question. We've attempted, these site plans get so busy. You'll see that there's patio space, you'll see that there's pool space, and you'll see that there's other, what I'm going to call white space, for lack of a better phrase, on the plan that walks around the site. What that space or what that white space is intended to actually show is green space or planting space. So we do have a landscape concept plan that in that white space between the one-story addition and the pool and the white space that's around the tree, that would actually be green space and additional plantings. So it's not hardscaping. It's, as you might see, thinking it's white space. It's actually soft landscaping, and there'll be additional plantings. And that's why there's no variance for those zoning standards in terms of landscaped open space.
Thank you.
So the question is, if we were going to consider this, if we were going to say, make sure that white space is going to be soft landscaping, how do we describe it? So we say the white space is representing soft landscaping?
I think
non-hatch
I think that's a fair description of what the white space is. And it's in accordance with the plans too, because we've shown where there's patio, which would be hardscapes, and we've shown where there's structure.
Yeah. Because there's no label, the right label as the soft landscaping. That's what I want to, including the one that near the tree, the little round area on the left side of the site plan. Including that part is also soft landscaping that you're proposing? The right opposite to the big white space, opposite, that white space with where the tree is now.
Where the larger tree is on the west-hand side there?
Yes, on the left side of the site plan,
Yes, that's all. That would also be green space.
Okay.
Or soft landscaping space.
All right, thank you. So any question before we move to the composition? We're ready for the other speakers. Yes, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon. My name is Amber Stewart, and I am here with my client, who is Dr. Larry Chad. He is the owner of 255 Dunvegan, which is the house adjacent to the east. For the record, Madam Chair, my mailing address is 70 Plunkett Road, Unit 6, Toronto, Ontario, M9L 2J5.
Okay, we got that, right? Dunvegan.
Thank you very much. And I see that staff, thank you, have put my presentation up on the screen. I think I'll actually ask if I can start at page 2 of this presentation, because I'll do the same thing that my friend Mr. Bronskill did and address the consultation piece first. It is true that Mr. Wengel put a package in the mailbox of certain neighbors before this Committee of Adjustment hearing, but unfortunately, like the first time, that package was provided after the redesign had already been complete. So I can advise you, Madam Chair, and members of the committee, that we were here at the last Committee of Adjustment hearing, and my client and other neighbors agreed to a deferral on the basis and on the expectation that there would be meaningful consultation before coming back to committee and resubmitting an application. My client, Dr. Chad, he reached out to Mr. Rotundo, who is an architect at Mr. Wengel's office, before the last committee hearing, and that's what initiated the consultation. He did not ever receive a phone call back from the neighbors or their agents to be able to discuss that proposal. So again, In the lead up to this committee hearing, my client again had to reach out to Mr. Rotundo, and Mr. Rotundo said that he had passed on the phone call attempt, but that was that. The application had already been submitted. My client had a meeting with the owners last Monday, so July 22nd, because he triggered the meeting request. That is the first time that they spoke with my client, and it's long after the application had been submitted and scheduled. There was absolutely no willingness to discuss on the part of the owners meaningful changes that would address my client's concerns. So, to that issue of what are my client's concerns, it's not a mystery. They were the same concerns raised in his submission before the last committee hearing. And you can see that what has actually occurred with this revised proposal before the committee is that it has gotten worse from my client's perspective. I know that numerically it appears that the variances have been reduced. All that has happened is that the footprint of the house has shifted. The floor area at each above grade floor level is either the same or moderately bigger, and the house has gotten about 0.3 meters longer. The shifting of the footprint of this house has actually decreased and worsened the impact on my client's property to the east, because they have reduced the side yard setback on the east side from 1.49 meters where it previously was to 1.19 meters where it now is. So on this second page of the slide, I think what is really important to note is that there was a previous Committee of Adjustment hearing for this site, which resulted in an appeal to TLAB. My client sitting beside me was successfully able to negotiate a resolution of that TLAB appeal with the previous owner, but that resolution was not given any consideration by the new owner in this proposal. So to sum it up, the agreement previously was to restrict the ground floor to 19 meters at the ground floor and 18 meters at the second floor where it is adjacent to my client's house. And of course, what you can see from this revised application is that the ground floor is now 27.11 meters long above grade. It's positioned to the east side of the property where it's got the most impact on my client's rear yard and his amenity space. And it is, I have the numbers written down, I just need to find it. It is going to project, do you have the number in your mind?
It's going to be 14 meters. 8 and 6 is 14 meters from the back of my house, and I have my deck there, which you might put up the picture if you want.
Okay. So,
Second floor.
Here, I have the numbers here. No, so it's, the previous agreement was that it would extend a maximum of 2.82 meters beyond the rear wall of 255 Dunvegan, and now it's going to project, in fact, there's a bit of a typo in there. I've written 9 meters, but it's actually 10 meters beyond the rear wall of my client's house. If you can scroll to the photos that are on the next page, and I appreciate, I'm almost out of time. I would appreciate your indulgence for an extra minute or so, Madam Chair, if I may. You heard Mr. Bronskill mention the detached garage that is currently in the backyard of that subject property. You can see that photo on the top left of the screen. As you can see, that is a very modest one-story garage that is positioned deeper into the property. And so the result of that is that my client's amenity space, where he actually sits on his patio and deck and where he's sitting in his family room, which is just off to the left of that image, that is adjacent to open space on the subject property. The new house, the new addition, is going to extend to where that green line has been drawn through the garage approximately. So it's going to fill up what is currently an open space treed view for my client. It's going to fill it up with a flat roof building, which is sitting approximately 4.3 meters above the grade with a flat roof. So it's significantly larger and taller, and I'm sure my client beside me is frankly insulted to hear Mr. Bronskill suggest that that will improve the massing and improve the impact on my client's property.
So I've given you extra minute already, so if you can sum up, I will give you time to sum up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think the last issue which must be mentioned is the impact on trees. You've seen the forestry report. That bottom right photo shows a mulberry tree which is on my client's property, and it is
It's my client's tree, but you can see a little bit, no, the one just to the right of that one, that's a tree that was removed without a permit by this owner. But the bottom right photo, that's a view of the mulberry tree. It's my client's tree, but the canopy projects significantly into the subject property, and it will be almost completely removed. And the arborist report hasn't addressed the impacts to that tree in terms of canopy removal. So not only do they not have consent from my client to remove that tree, they've never asked for consent. And given the fact that there's been another tree that was removed without a permit, which you're seeing in the left-hand side, we frankly have no confidence that they'll follow the rules in terms of my client's requirement for consent to injure or remove that tree. And then the last thing I will say is that Councillor Matlow's letter, I don't know if you've had a chance to read it, which was submitted yesterday, also notes the fact that this owner has refused mediation. Yeah. So our request, frankly, is that this application be denied, and it has too great of an impact and does not meet the character of the neighborhood. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. But we did read the letter. I did anyway. Yes. Questions to this?
Ms. Stewart, thank you. I just want to circle back to the agreement that your client had. Did you say that went to OLT or TLAB?
TLAB, yes, sir, it did.
TLAB. And were there minutes of settlement?
There were minutes of settlement. I was not party to, I was not counsel at that time, so there are minutes of settlement that were entered into. I don't know if they were part of the TLAB filings or not, but there were signed minutes of settlement,
it's on
yes.
file with this.
Those were with the current owner or the previous owner?
They were with the previous owner.
So help me out because you're a lawyer.
Yes.
Do these minutes of settlement have legal standing given the change of ownership?
Through you, Madam Chair, without pulling up the minutes of settlement and reading them, I can't give you a legal opinion on whether or not they are binding. What I can say typically is that unless there's a restrictive covenant registered on title, it's not absolutely binding on a third party where there's a change of ownership.
And this was not registered on title?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
And also, I think, in my opinion, is that if it's a brand new proposal, it's almost very little bit to be able to translate.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand. I just want to understand what the dynamics of the actual agreement were.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good question, no? And any other questions, please, for this speaker? Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Okay, through you, Madam Chair, we can now hear from the owner at 259 Dunvegan Road.
Hi. Thank you, everyone. I'm at 259 Dunvegan, and my name is Dr. Naomi Himmel. And I just wanted to let you know that I do oppose the present plan, and that all this was done prior to any sort of meeting, which I also had with the new owners. But they came to me after they had already done everything and already proposed the new house and all the plans. So we were never part, as neighbors, of their planning. I want to make that very clear. I'm going to read my letter. The house in question looks beautiful from the drawings, but actual depth, size, and disregard for green space concerns me. I therefore oppose the variances asked by 257 Dunvegan Road. I bought my house 24 years ago because of the beautiful green space and the privacy and the lovely backyard it afforded. The proposal put forth by 257 Dunvegan Road states my garage is 1 story above ground is inaccurate. It is submerged at least 3/4 to 1/2. The depth of my house presently is 6 feet short from 257 Dunvegan and lines up with their inner fireplace, which means the variances on the west side will extend the house additionally approximately 7 feet and extending back from the rear of my house 13 feet, blocking my view and decreasing my enjoyment of my backyard. This also threatens the root system of the very existence of the honey locust. I hear that there is an allowance for partial damage, which is ludicrous since the tree is 100% in great shape and is about 75 years old. The west side will encroach on the tree's existing root system and will threaten its viability. 257 Dunvegan also is requesting a floor area of 82% increase to the allowable 35%. Literally more than doubles to triples, almost triples, the house floor space, which is substantial increase impacting on my views to the backyard and my sense of privacy, which I enjoyed for 25 years. They say it's part of Forest Hill, but I don't believe so, because now it will change the alignment of all the houses in back, and I refer you to page 2 of the first page. You can see the setbacks of all the houses and how they're aligned. The increased footprint of the depth of the house is alarming at best and will block my easterly view like looking through a pinhole camera. The 36 feet beyond the 255 Dunvegan to the east side is an exception to all houses on the street presently. This may also set a precedent for 253 Dunvegan, changing the very architecture and alignment of backyard space. Side setbacks, which are reduced, will narrow, mostly impact on my snow removal on my side, and there is no place to clear it at all. It is difficult to clear my driveway, and not having the space between the two houses makes it even more difficult. And there will be little room to walk if an emergency exists. Driveway width is not an issue for me, but the cleared trees on the lot and the juniper protected tree last fall, where they clear-cut all the trees and all the vegetation, was not fair and was never consulted as neighbors. The applicant asked for a deferral to speak with neighbors, but that was never done, other than the meeting last Monday where they already had their plans in place. To sum things up, this massive increase in depth and coverage is a huge concern and may set a precedent for a quiet street. The fact that the deferral was granted last meeting. Okay, I'm going to skip that because I might run out of time. I just wanted to say two things, and that is, though they got rid of the underground garage, the fact is that the depth of the house is still at an increase beyond the first one by at least 1 meter, 26 to 27. The fact that the one story protrudes on the east side is at least 10 feet high. So not only does it take up more space going back in depth of the house, but it makes it continuous with no space. Like between the garage and the house, there was a lot of space. Now there's no space, and it goes right into the garage. I have a lot of concerns about the coverage and just about the massiveness of this house and how it will impact, and as well as how the alignment will change the entire alignment on houses on the street presently and may serve to set a new precedent, which I really hope it doesn't. And I'm very worried about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any question to this speaker? No, we don't have questions for you. Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair, we did have the owner at 272 Forest Hill Road registered. However, we've made multiple attempts and we haven't been able to contact them. And they're not showing as online to speak.
That's the last speaker, or are there more? Yeah.
So at this time, then we can
That's
go.
our neighbor.
We do have more.
They're messaging me right now. I know they're really trying hard to be on there. Do you see Michael Kraft online? It could be under Michael Kraft. Then that would be done. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we'll unmute Michael then.
Michael Kraft, you've been unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Leslie Marcus, and I reside at 272 Forest Hill Road. I'm not going to go into the background as far as April's decision that we agreed to a deferral. You've heard all of that. As far as protocol, as far as going in accordance with Councillor Matlow's suggestion at that time, the applicants were completely disregarding all of those and went ahead, as you've heard, to redesign their plans. What I find most interesting is that when they started coming around to all the neighbors, it became a bit of a suggestion that we were pitting one against the other. They refused to talk. When we did say that we had strong opposition, they weren't interested in hearing any of the opposition that we had with their renewed plans. There are multiple neighbors on Forest Hill Road, as well as surrounding streets, who are all very opposed to the gross FSI, as well as the length and depth of this home. We are concerned about the precedent that it sets. I know that the applicants have argued that this is within range of the current neighborhood. I would beg to differ, and I think that whatever is happening in the neighborhood is a moot point. Might be said that it's irrelevant in this case because each home and each design has to be done based in accordance with the size of the lot, the neighbors who oppose it. A lot of the homes that have been built with gross FSIs 0.82 and greater are corner lots. They may not have the opposition of other neighbors. All I can say is in this particular case, one size does not fit all. I do not want a house this length and depth in my backyard. Okay, I'm not opposed to them building a beautiful home. It's a lovely design. But having said that, I bought in this neighborhood the way they're claiming. They've spent a lot of money. They've spent a lot of investment buying this property and designing and redesigning the home. Every single one of their neighbors have an investment in their home. Okay, they are not like no man is an island. They are not operating alone. You know, I know Richard Wengel, God bless him, he's redesigned the whole neighborhood, and we don't appreciate it. And that's all I'm really going to say. I mean, in terms of answering the 4 questions, the 4 requirements, are these variances minor? They are not minor. In some cases, they're double or triple the amount allowable. They will negatively impact the sight lines, the privacy, the sunlight of neighboring properties. I don't want to look out my backyard, windows and balconies. I want to see trees. That's what I invested in. And the general intent of the zoning bylaws are totally being disrupted with this plan. They disrupt rules of privacy, proportionality, scale, and spacing, most particularly the side yard setback. So they have, the applicants have gone around pitting neighbor against neighbor, misrepresenting the fact that it's actually a law and granting that did make changes.
Sorry, we are losing you. Yeah, we can't hear you now.
Yeah, it just made it worse.
Your sentences are broken.
I'm going through a bad area. I'm traveling. Okay, I'm just going to say that the applicants have acted in very bad faith and unappreciated. Sorry, I guess you're losing me.
Okay, thank you. We do have a question for you, though.
Thanks, ma'am. You may have said this, and you're breaking in and out, so I didn't quite catch it. But your house is in behind and then down a couple. Are you directly affected? Like, how is this proposal going to directly affect you?
Okay, I'll tell you how it's going to directly affect me because, like their lawyers suggested, this is within range in the neighborhood. There are applications coming up for properties directly behind me, and anything you do and you decide sets a precedent for further development. I don't believe that within the neighborhood range is a valid point and a valid argument. I believe that each new build should be in correspondence with the street that it's on. In particular, this DUNVEGAN stretch are all lined up in the front and in the rear yards. And as soon as you allow one, you're going to allow another. We know that this is the argument that their lawyers have made, that it's all within range of new construction. They have a plan showing 0.82 plus FSIs all in the neighborhood. I'm saying that that is a moot point. I'm concerned about what's going to go on in my backyard, and what you decide here is going to affect me.
Okay, ma'am. So I'm just going to summarize. Your concern is mostly about precedent setting for the rest of the neighborhood. Okay, thank you.
That is one of my biggest concerns, yes.
Thanks.
Okay. Any more questions for this speaker? Any more? Okay, we're ready for next if we do have.
For you, Madam Chair, we're through all the speakers, so we'll go back to the agent.
Yeah, please bring back Mr. Bonsky. Can you address to the concern raised by the other speakers? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I'll do my best. I just have to say, Madam Chair, I don't think it's fair what the last speaker just did with my client, and suggesting that my clients are pitting neighbors against each other and engaging in an ad hominem attack on my clients. I have to say that and defend them. That's just not fair. It's not accurate. And the form letter that last speaker prepared for people to sign that is full of inaccuracies could be accused of doing the same thing. So I would just urge the committee not to place any reliance on ad hominem attacks. What happens in the neighborhood, I think, as this committee well knows, is relevant because we have to look at whether a proposed development respects and reinforces the existing physical character of the neighborhood. The official plan requires us to do that. And so we do have to look at what is happening in the neighborhood. And that's why we provide the research request results to the panel so you have them, so you can understand the numbers from a quantitative perspective in terms of what's happening in the area. It is not accurate to indicate that the higher FSIs are only occurring on corner lots. I think that's obvious in the slide that we provided in our package, that there are FSIs well above what my clients are requesting that are not on corner lots. Right around the corner, 91, it's not a corner lot. Right around the corner, 85, it's not a corner lot. Right across the street, 88, it's not a corner lot. So that's not an accurate statement. But that's just the quantitative, and I think this panel well knows I always come back to the qualitative. There was a suggestion that the neighbor to the west is going to have her view blocked. I don't think that's true when you look at the site plan. There was a concern about loss of green space. The tree is now being preserved, and urban forestry is in fact satisfied that that significant tree will be preserved. And in fact, they've gone so far as to give us additional advice about the landscaping when it comes to doing any work in that area. So that tree will be preserved. You've had me already walk through the site plan and indicate the areas where there are opportunities for green space and more planting. My client is already planning to do significant hedging down the east property line next to Dr. Chad's property to help screen the view. Contrary to what Ms. Stewart said, there have been no trees removed from the property where permits were required. That was an unfair statement and inaccurate. Any tree removal has been of trees for which permits are not required. So that was not a fair statement. It's also frankly irrelevant to the proposal that's before you. The existing garage is 4 meters high, 13 feet. It's a double car garage. It's a significant structure. And what we've done with the one-story structure section on the plan is it's actually at 1.5 meters. We have attempted to move it further away from her client's property. However, as I noted at this panel, in light of the urban forestry memo, and in light of the comments made to you about that east side getting closer, and in light of the questions that Mr. Clay asked about that tree, I am recommending that the committee not grant that east side yard variance. That's a show of good faith to the neighbor on that side that we will have an east wall on that side that meets the bylaw in terms of separation, and will ensure that the wall is outside the tree protection zone. You can see it right there in red. That's the permitted side yard. You can see it would be outside the tree protection zone for that tree. So I'm actually going to recommend that as a compromise to the committee, that should you see fit to grant the other variances, that we have to meet the side yard setback on that east side. It'll allow for the hedging plantings that my clients are proposing. It'll grant additional relief on that side. It will ensure that that tree is protected. in the end, Madam Chair, really and truly, it's that one-story section that is apparently causing the angst. And I do think it is not insulting, but in fact true, that it represents an improvement to have a smaller, shorter one-story section in that location, 1.8 meters away from the side yard lot line, and to have a 4-meter high double car garage removed to enable that additional planting to occur. So I do think qualitatively this will represent an improvement. Those are my comments in reply, Madam Chair. I'm happy as always to take any questions the panel may have.
I do have question because you confused me a little bit on the
Thank you.
on the offer to increase the east side yard setback to 1.8 just for the one-story portion.
No, it'd be the entire side, Madam Chair.
So you will delete variance 8, which you have to.
No, through you, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
variance number 8 would have to be reworded.
Modified.
That the new dwelling will be located 1.52 meters from the side west lot line.
Yes.
Oh, you will revert to the previous proposal almost.
So they still
Yeah.
require the
Yeah,
setback
still,
to the
that's what I
west,
meant.
Just they won't request the variance to the east.
To the east. And also on the west side is still 1.19.
No, it will
I
meet
see,
the minimum required setback at 1.8.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I understand now. So actually, it's good that you address that concern because this is the main concern from the Labor 255 because from their perspective, not just that you move the building closer to them, and also I think the new proposal is the actual above grade building is actually longer, right? So, so I can see why they will oppose to that change. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
and perhaps this is a question to the applicant, does that reduce variance number 6 for floor space index?
Yes.
It won't be by much, but.
Through you, Madam Chair, there might be a reduction to it overall. I don't have that number. We only had the urban forestry memo yesterday. But if it's helpful, we could get that number very quickly.
So we should get that number because otherwise it will not guarantee we have the setback. You might put it back to somewhere else, right? If we do not have the reduction of the GFA, I mean the floor area. Yes.
Mr. Bronskill, I know at the outset you talked about the consultation and you don't want to get into a he said, she said, but I think we'd be doing the neighbors a disservice if I didn't follow up and ask you after we've heard from them the allegations that there were no substantive discussions, and I wonder if you could help us out and respond to that again.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, to you, Mr. Clay. I read the criticism as different, sir. I read the criticism that there were revisions made without initial consultations. And I acknowledge that because the revisions were through extensive work to address the concerns of urban forestry and to have materials provided back to the committee to enable the public notice to go out. I would actually say through you, Madam Chair, that in fact an on-site visit with my clients and their contractor to discuss the proposal does actually represent significant consultation. It doesn't represent agreement. It doesn't represent consensus, but those discussions were attempted. And I'm here today suggesting a further revision on the east side to address both the later urban forestry memo and the comments we've heard about the east side yard setback. So I do think there has been significant consultation. I think the criticism is about the timing for it. And I would just say sometimes timing's not perfect. There was a lot to do to deal with urban forestry, and that was resolved in terms of the tree on the west side. But then there have been significant efforts by my client to meet people on site and to go around the neighborhood. And so I don't think it's fair to say there hasn't been significant consultation. I do think the concern is about timing.
Yeah, I think it's just a different perspective because people looking for consultation and discussion is hoping to make some modification, but in the standpoint of the applicant, they actually have prepared a final design and not really wanting to make any change. So whether it's a meaningful consultation or not, that's a question, right? So I think. Anyway, so do we have more questions to Mr. Bonskill? Otherwise, we'll move into a discussion. Yes, we do have more questions, Mr. Bonskill. Yeah.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. My question is that this application was before Committee of Adjustment on 3rd of November 2021, and then come back at April 17th, 2024, and then deferred to today, and today is the other hearing that we have. My question, one of the neighbors mentioned that as a result of this consultation, you not only improve the length or depth, but also it will get more. So would you please explain the situation that, because I can see on 3rd of November, length was 21 meter, now the proposed is 2711, and the depth before was 26.75, now the proposed is 26.26 meter. Would you please just clarify?
So when we were in front of the committee last time, the proposed, I'll deal with both parts of the question. The length proposed when we were in front of the committee last time was 32.77 meters. The depth proposed when we were in front of the committee last time was 31.91 meters. And I apologize, Madam Chair, if you just bear with me just for 1 second, I'm just asking the architect to update the FSI.
Yes, we still need that figure, yeah.
Apologies, I apologize for interrupting.
Yeah.
To do this. Thank you, Madam Chair. I apologize. Yeah. So there were actually longer lengths and depths, and there was an FSI of 81.7. What the criticism, I think, is, through you, Madam Chair, is that the length and depth have been reduced. So the length is now 27.11 meters. The depth is now 26.26 meters. So those have actually been reduced. What's happened is the side yard on the west side to accommodate the tree was increased. That has resulted then in a GFA reallocation where the above grade length and depth increased slightly, and the FSI has gone from 81.7 to 82.03. That's the criticism in terms of the house getting bigger. It got bigger by 3 square meters through this significant redesign. And the redesign was to deal with the tree, and as well as significant changes to pull back all of the underground garage. So the FSI is roughly the same. I don't see 3 square meters as a big change one way or the other, but there has been a significant redesign to deal with concerns, including the below grade, which is not FSI, and the tree. And that's resulted in the changes to the plans that are now in front of you. I hope that answers the question.
So just through you, Madam Chair, just another quick question, because we don't have all the drawings from before, from previous hearing in front of us. So is from 3rd of November 2021 to April 17, 2024, is it the same design? Like, I know the design have been changed, but is it same owners?
Sorry, I now understand your question through you, Madam Chair. Different owners, that was a different design. I think Mr. Clay had asked a question about the previous minutes of settlement with that owner. Those were not with my client. I, in fact, haven't seen those minutes of settlement. I agree with the presentation made by Ms. Stewart to you that they would not be binding. I actually don't know what they say, but that version, those plans, that design, that was not put forward by my client.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
No, I appreciate. Sorry, thank you for the clarification.
Yes. So, aren't you also still own us a new number if you're going to reduce the east side setback? I thought that it might affect.
I'm trying to get that FSI, Madam Chair, from the architect. I do agree with staff because the side yard variances are in a single requested variance, number 8. It would not be a deletion, but it would be a revision of that variance to delete the request for the east side yard setback.
But what I mean is, you know that you will affect you will reduce your FSI, right? Wouldn't it?
There would be a marginal reduction because we would be going from 1.21 to 1.8. It would take out about 244 square meters. And it would result, I have the figure, Madam Chair, it would result in an FSI of 79.44.
79.44.
0.6 for that entire east side times the 19.2, and then it'd be 0.3 times the length of the one story. Those two numbers together result in a reduction down to 79.44. And so we'd be prepared to revise the FSI variance as well.
70 is 0.79. Sorry, the area is 70. I'm sorry. Did anyone get that?
79.44 times, but I didn't get the square meter.
Yeah, I have it in square feet. If you just give me one moment, apologies.
Okay.
It's a reduction of 244.16 square feet. So 0.7944 times the area of the lot, which is 878.2, results in 697.64 square meters.
Okay, and 0.667. Okay, it's 697.47 square meter.
Yeah, and that's then an FSI of 0.7944.
Yes.
As opposed to the 0.8203 being sought.
Yeah. Okay.
79.
But that is the revision. We got that revision first, and then we will discuss the. So, any other questions? No. I wait a little bit. We have more questions. Okay, we do not have any more questions now. We are in committee. Comments? Yes.
Comments, okay.
Yeah.
Let's not get the ball rolling. I must say that I'm not a fan of these excessive lengths and depths at all, especially when they're subterranean. But I do also have to admit that compared to the previous application before us, and I was part of that process, that one, there's a huge change between that and this one with the length and depth. A minor change just now with the FSI, that adds to a bit of a change. So I'm a lot more amenable to this application, despite the fact that I still feel that the length and depth would be reduced somewhat, but I'm a little bit more open to
But it's funny.
this project.
It's funny. It's almost the opposite thought that I have for this one, only because the last one, it seems that this model has been used in this, maybe the bigger area a few times, or more than a few times. But the difference is that the other one, the previous one, did not have any opposition. And I think that in this one, it's very hard not to look into the opposition and the process that they have been involved in. That the last deferral is precisely, we were told that they will make a consultation and discussion. And it seems that, I think the standpoint is maybe the proposal is always there, and then they're not willing to change it too much, and they will just present the cases, and then it's actually not too much of like back and forth. Seems that the other neighbors are hoping to have. That's, I think, this result. But I must say they try to make some concession with the east side setback, which I think is done in good faith in that sense.
If I may, I think you're right about the consultation, what consultation means to different people.
Yeah.
The other piece on this particular application is the garage, the existing garage.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's removed, that entire space will go back to soft landscaping as well.
Mm-hmm.
The subterranean portion is certainly substantially reduced,
Mm-hmm.
which for me is going to be it's going to become a huge problem as time goes on with the excessive moisture that we get. So I think this is a definite improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not a fan of very large projects,
Mm-hmm.
but having said that, I think this is more palatable than it was previously.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, me. I after listening to the neighbors and an applicant, and compare this application, which is before us, with the one that have been deferred. So I understand. Thanks for the clarification that lengths have been improved around 5.6 meters, same as depth. Have been improved, and also FSI is reduced, and also the east side yard setback removed to save the tree. I think these modifications are good modification in terms of making the application improve it and make it less big of a development for us to approve. I'm satisfied with these modification, and I think because the length and depth is only for one level, it's beneficial if we tie it to site plan and also elevations or side elevations. Then it will explain the depth, and the applicant cannot go all the way to different floors with that depth and length. That's my observation and my comment.
Oh, if you've imposed that condition, you have to be specific, because the east side setback is being modified. So you will say that just the length and related to the length and the depth of the building. Do you tie to the site plan? The site plan.
No, we can just put it on the side, because if it's one side, so I'll double check the orientation of the building, where we can just tie to one of those elevation that doesn't, this setback that have been modified doesn't.
Just on the elevation plan, yeah. The site plan indicating a different side yard setback, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, yes, the site plan, yeah, now it's changed.
Yes, Mr. Clay has comment, yeah.
I'll try not to repeat what my colleagues have already said, but I'll parse my comments into two pieces. One is the broader neighborhood. We heard a lot about concern about precedent-setting nature of this. I look at it inversely. Every neighborhood in Toronto is unique. So too is Forest Hill. Forest Hill is characterized by typically large homes, large lots. And a lot of those homes are being rebuilt on larger footprints because it's such a desirable area to live in. It's very large lots. I think the lots, generally speaking, can accommodate larger dwellings, and we're seeing that right across the board. I don't think that the FSI that is being proposed here is at all out of character with the broader Forest Hill community. In fact, it's probably going to become more common as we go forward, and folks reinvest in their homes, or new folks move into that neighborhood. It's just the nature of Forest Hill. It's a desirable, affluent community, and if you are affluent, then you will move in and you will likely make improvements to homes. That's just the nature of it. On a site-specific basis, I would agree with my colleagues. I think the changes that have been brought forward are positive changes. I think they may not, and I doubt very much, they completely satisfy the neighbors. It's quite clear that there are still concerns. But I think these are commendable changes to what was a much different proposal previously. By a new owner. The east side, I think someone mentioned that the east side, removal of the garage opens up some space in the rear yard, and the extension of the one floor room doesn't go as far back as the current garage. I grant that there's a gap in there that will be filled in, but I don't think on balance that increases the impact more than having a garage there. And, there's no soft landscaping variance. The applicant has done, I think, a reasonable job to try and preserve important trees that are important not only to the next door neighbors, but to the community at large, and I think that's commendable. If the two trees in question can be preserved, I think that's a positive thing. So on balance, given where this started, where it is now, the proposals that are before us, and the relative context of this application in the broader Forest Hill community, I think it's a supportable application.
Mm-hmm. So just anyone wants to make a motion?
I just, to you, Madam Chair, I just have a question from Madam Secretary Treasurer, if you allow me. So because the east side yard setback have been changed, so we cannot tie it to site plan, obviously. So what do you suggest? Is it okay if we tie it to east and west elevation?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes. I mean, the option here is to tie it to the elevation plans, if you wish.
Yeah, but we still need the site plan for another condition. You know why? Unless
for the landscape.
Yeah, for the
soft
landscaping. So we can specifically saying that's a site plan tied to the soft landscaping that is represented by the unhatched area on the site plan to be soft landscaping.
But maybe if they do modify the east yard, maybe they want to add more landscape.
No, it's just because they can't make any more modifications to the plans, because then we won't have a chance to review those plans, right?
Yes.
So I would say the non-hatched areas and areas that don't have structures, right, would be the soft landscaping in the rear yard.
Yes, that's a good.
So if you want to tie the site plan just for the landscaping purpose.
Yes.
And then elevation plans to ensure the stepping of heights.
Yeah. And would it be possible that we also mention that this length and depth is only for one-story building, or it's fine if we just tie to elevation east and west? That will also.
Again, I mean, there could be wording in the condition that states tie it to the site plan based on length, depth, and soft landscaping areas. And then tie it to the side elevations to show that stepping of heights.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
That's maybe more watertight. So yeah, and also it's amended application. Yeah. Both the variant 6 have been reduced and variant 8 also been reduced. Yeah. Clear, but we still need a motion or, yeah.
And one more clarification, we don't have any forestry condition, we just have some memos and.
We do.
Through you, Madam Chair, yes. Forestry number 2.
2.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's part of the second report that they submitted.
Right. But we're not following the recommendation to refuse number 8.
Yes, we just refuse one part of it because they asked for refusing the.
The memo was requesting refusal of variance number 8, and they've amended variance number
Number
8. And then if the committee is to approve the application, condition number 2 would be imposed, is what they're recommending.
Thank you.
Okay. So is that complicated enough for someone to make a motion?
We have very capable staff here. I think they've got it all.
Yes.
So, Chair, if you like, I'm happy to move a motion on this one, unless there's further comments.
No, I'm.
Based on the extensive conversations that we've each had and our reasons within those conversations, I will move approval of this application. We will amended application, and we will there'll be forestry condition number 2, and we will tie it to both the east and west elevations and those elements of the site plan that are related to length and depth and the unhatched area in the rear yard to be soft landscaping.
Yes.
I think that's everything.
Yes. So the
Will, did I get everything?
And variance number 8, you don't need to read.
Oh, we already got the revisions. They have.
Yeah, I amended, yeah, it's an amended application, yeah.
and that
So
one.
we will make the changes that were suggested by the agent.
For variance 6 and 8. Okay. To that note, I'll second the motion.
You second?
I'll second it, yes.
Yes, I didn't see your hand. I see some part of your head. Okay, all in favor with all the revisions and conditions? Yes. All in favor with all the conditions? Yeah, yeah. Approve with the amended agenda and the revisions. Thank you. Yeah. So item,
Through you, Madam Chair,
Yes.
we can now deal with items 23 and 24 together, 265 and
Okay.
267 Symington.
okay, Symington, okay. Let me get them on first. And then, we will, the number 23 and 24 is 265, the same, and 267 Symington Avenue. This is to construct a new 2-story auxiliary building containing one laneway street in the rear yard, and there will be 2 dwelling units on this lot. And I think 267 is a similar application. So they are seeking for 3 variances each. And on this, both files, we receive a copy of the survey site plan, floor plans, and the minute from June 12, 2040 public hearing, and also 12 photographs of the tree. And on 267, we receive decision affecting the property, and also both property will receive Metrolink staff report. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online, no registered speakers for this item, for both items, 23 and 24. We'll unmute Bruno Lopez at this time.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. My name is Bruno Lopez from MXL Engineering and Associates, located at 1649 Sinclair Avenue West, and I'll be the agent on behalf of both clients.
Okay, yeah, because you do not have any oppositions, but I'd like to know whether the panel wants the presentation they do not need a presentation, but maybe they have questions. Let's get to the questions.
Sure, just a quick question. First of all, good to see this one come back. I noticed in the original deferral, you deferred because it thought it made more sense to come back with a joint application, and I think that's a very commendable thing. It helps us out a little bit, and it addresses the concerns about complementarity between the two properties, so that's good. The only real issue is, frankly, that instead of being 7.5 meters away, you're 6 points. So you're a meter, your proposal laneway house is just 1 meter less than required. And as a result, you penetrate the angular plane as well.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Yes, there's correct, Member Larry. This was to try to maximize the GFAs, right? Whatever we allowed, and we know that this is a very common situation. We've seen as far as 4 meters, so we know that is like in a danger situation. I think the 1 meter here is reasonable. It's very minor. It's very common. So this is a very straightforward application. And I think this is very commendable. As you said, yes, very rare to see 2 neighbors build at the same time. And I haven't seen so far. I think we innovate and we did semi-detached laneway suites, which I haven't seen yet. And yeah, here's the application, and again, very straightforward, and we are very happy that both neighbors worked together and they were pleased with the final design.
Chair, if I may ask
Yep.
a question.
Yes, please go ahead. Yeah, Ms. Byett has a question.
Just a quick question. In the rear, I think, I'm trying to see which house it is. 267 in the rear, there's an indication of concrete walkway, and then of course for 265 you've got proposed interlocking walkway. Is this something that is carved in stone? Because I was just wondering if they could perhaps have make sure that they're permeable on both properties.
For you, Madam Chair, yes, correct. We've done, as you can see, we maximize, and we have no variances for landscaping. So we maximize whatever we could do in between the main buildings and the laneway suites. And at the back, instead of doing concrete like a lot of people do, we did pavers and we did permeable pavers. So we maximize whatever we could for water infiltration.
Would this be the same for both properties or just the one?
No, the approach is the same for both properties.
Both, okay.
So it's just where they connect, because there's going to be sort of a walkway, laneway, let's call it, in between the properties. So the approach is the same for both. We maximize it where we could.
Good, thank you.
But yeah, you're right. One's labeled interlocking, the other labeled concrete. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So that's Ms. West.
Yes, to you, Madam Chair. So, I haven't been a part of the meeting when you had it before, but by looking at these laneway suites, is it kind of like semi-detached? I know that the foundation and the ground floor are not connected, but the second floor are connected. How do you explain it? So.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Yes, it's correct. This is just a typical cantilever. And at the top, yes, they're going to be fire-rated walls, and there is a common wall. But on the main floor, we have this walkway, which is pretty much the entrance for both properties. Entrance, I mean a secondary entrance, let's say. It's like a passage. It's good for garbage and so the garbage will be in between, let's say, in the front of this laneway suite. So it's just a walkway that they can pull garbage around and they can go around the house, so if they need, or even for bicycle parking. It's sort of like a shared access.
So you get the answer?
Yes, so it doesn't trigger any setback, right?
No. So we did our best to comply with everything in setbacks and this was the purpose, to actually maintain all the setbacks, and we didn't have any variance for setbacks.
So the only reason you did this design is to provide some area for garbage cans and our passage between these two?
Not for storage of garbage cans, just to pass by. So if they need to pass with any garbage cans, with anything that they bicycles, I don't know, even if they want to pass with anything else, it's a little bit of room that allowed for some space to it's just a passage.
Thank you.
Like the main buildings, if you see the main buildings, curiously, these actually, the main buildings are semi-detached to the other side. and they have a passage. So pretty much it's connecting the link from the front to the back.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Are we in committee? We would like to start? We're in discussion now? Okay, we do not have any more questions for you. Now we are in committee. Yeah.
To start off, I think this is a really positive application. Designs are both commendable, and I think they'll work out very well, providing additional accommodation. There are, I believe this is a Metrolinx condition and not,
Yes.
not an advisory. I believe it's a condition. Or am I mistaken?
Through you, Madam Chair, it's the warning condition from Metrolinx.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't believe there are
But go
any
back
conditions other than
the walkway.
in the walkway at the rear.
Both property.
Both properties were using permeable materials.
Yes. I was Deputy Secretary Treasurer. Did you get that one? The condition. Okay. Now, so you're making a motion, or do we have other comment? Sounds like a motion to me too. With the permeable paver as conditions for both property. Anyone want to second that for both property? Mr. Clay second, and all in favor with the condition. All in favor. I didn't see Ms. West's hand, but I assume you.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I did not see it. You dissent.
Yeah, I dissent.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. 3-1. Ms. West dissent both cases.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Can you tell us
Just the height.
your opinion? Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to talk about the height.
Oh, okay.
I'm just think that 6.3, yes, I oppose that.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. So approve Ms. West's dissent. Yeah. Thank you. So we now move to number 25, which is 972 Queen Street East. The purpose for this application is to convert the existing 3-story semi-detached mixed-use building, and which contain one commercial unit and one vacant residential unit on second and third floors, and the rear 2-story auxiliary building containing one ground floor vacant commercial and one vacant residential unit into commercial use. There will be no residential units on the lot and no parking spaces on site provided. They have asked for 2 variances. And on this file, we also received a copy of survey, site plan, floor plan, elevation, 3 photographs, and a cover letter from the agent. We also received comment from for that adjustment with heritage, urban forestry, and transportation. And we received support from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 addresses from Queen Street East, and also 1 from CARLAW Street and 1 from Boston Avenue.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online, no registered speakers for this item.
Yes. All right.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you to the chair and members of the committee. My name is Thomas Dubowski from W&D Associates. We're the applicants and planners for this application.
Mm-hmm. And okay, do we need a? Yeah, it's a simple conversion. There's one question I have. Is this almost vacant at the current property?
Yes, it's mostly vacant. So essentially the 972 Queen Street East building, it contains a commercial unit at grade, which is currently occupied.
Mm-hmm.
And the second and third story units are vacant rental residential units. And then with respect to the 181A CARLAW building, both the first and second floor units are currently vacant.
Okay, thank you. It's pretty straightforward. So you have any more questions? Okay, we do not have any more questions for you, but do you have something you'd like to address the panel before we move into discussion?
Not at this time, unless the committee has any questions or comments.
All right, so we are in committee now. Okay, Mr. Craig. Yeah.
Sure, I'll start this one. I think we always regret the loss of potential residential units and accommodation, particularly in these kinds of areas where I suspect they're probably quite needed. But given the fact that they're not occupied right now, they're all vacant, and converting it to a commercial, one would expect that this would incrementally add to employment opportunities in the area as well. So there are no external changes. This is all entirely internal. And no one's really impacted, so I think it's a supportable application. I'm happy to move approval of this application. Heritage is okay with it, so there's no conditions.
Okay. Anyway, Mr. Bayer, second. Yes, no conditions. All in favor? Unanimously approved. Thank you. It's approved. Thank you. And then we have number 26, 343 Albany Avenue. This one, the purpose for this one is to alter the existing 2.5-story detached dwelling by constructing a 3rd-story addition with a rear 3rd-story deck and a 2-story rear addition at the southeast portion of the dwelling, seeking 2 variances. And on this file, we received a survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 11 photographs of trees, 4 photographs of trees, and also we received 7 formal letters from Albany Avenue. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online, no registered speakers for this item.
Good afternoon. My name is Adria Durazo from Replacement Design, located in 911 Davenport Road, and I'm the agent representing the owners for 343 Albany Avenue.
Okay. You do not have any oppositions on this application. Do we need a present? The panel indicated they do not need a presentation from you, but maybe they will have questions. No, it seems that they do not have questions either. So we are ready to move this into discussion. Do you have anything you want to address the panel before we do that?
No, if you don't have any question, I'm available for anything that might come up.
Okay, thank you. So we are in committee now. It seems that okay, Ms. West.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. This is a very moderate, alteration. It's just we are just having 2 variants, FSI 1.26 versus 1, which is very minor, and also the rear yard setback also is minor. I think I can support this application. Therefore, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
Yeah. Anyone want to second that? Mr. Bayer, second. All in favor with no conditions? All in favor, approved unanimously. Thank you. And I think that we are on the last item. Number 27 is 104 Cadorna Avenue. And for this application is to alter existing 1-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear 1st-story addition with deck and a complete 2nd-story addition and a front porch. They're seeking 5 variances, and we also receive a site plan, survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevation, 4 photographs of the tree, and we receive comment from Urban Forestry.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online, no registered speakers for this item.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis, you've been unmuted.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Curtis Van Kulen of First Design Studio, representing the owner of the property. Here to answer any questions you may have.
Oh, yes, you don't have any opposition, and I want to see whether the panel require a presentation or they have questions. We have questions. Don't seem to have questions, so, oh, yeah, we do have a question, yeah.
We don't often see coverage as being a variance in Toronto, so, but this is a fairly significant overage of the 35% limit. So maybe we could just get your perspective on variance number 4.
Yes, of course. Through you, Madam Chair. The site is a rather small lot in the area. The coverage is comprised of some overhangs that we've created. Thank you. Staff has the site plan there, some hatched areas. So this overage is achieved or done by cantilevering the second floor, allowing for the, I guess, salvage of the main floor structure. We're basically creating a second floor on top of the main floor structure of the existing home and doing a bit of an overhang. And then, of course, the rear proposed addition as well through that. Plus, we're retaining the existing garage, which has to factor into that as well. There's an existing garage at the rear of the property that's going to be renovated, spruced up, just, on the exterior to look a little nicer than it currently does. But those are, sort of a summation of the contributing factors to the higher lot coverage.
So it's a feature of the small nature of the lot, and your FSI is really just very, very minor increase, right?
Correct. That's through you, Mr. Chair. This is just a minor increase in the FSI. We're doing our best to, meet the area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just
yes, we do have another question by.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Would you please? I would like to ask for an explanation for variance number 5.
Just going. So overall, just due to the existing position of the home and going up on that side of the lot. We do want to maintain proper, drainage over top of the roof and not cast water down the side of the facade. So we do want a small overhang, and we are quite close on that existing side. And again, we're trying to retain the existing structure and just add on top. So we're at 0.29 and 0.27. So, adding on a very slight overhang on that side. And again, we've kept it as very, very tight as we possibly can. Adding on that slight overhang, it does creep us a little closer to the property line. So, thank you.
Yeah. But you do have overhang there, see, but you're going to put gutter there though, right?
Yeah, there's going to be, yes, through you, Ms. Chair, the gutter will be there for sure.
Yeah, so the gutter is not counted as the projection, right, I guess?
Right.
Is it, no, it's the question. So the gutter is excluding from your 0.17?
Yes, it's excluded from that, yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so any more questions, or do we have a motion? Sorry, we don't have any more questions. Do you have anything else you want to address the panel?
I do not at this time. Any other questions I'd be happy to address? Thank you.
We are ready to discuss this. Okay, we're in committee.
Maybe I'll take this last one, Chair.
Yes.
I think this is a very straightforward application. In the fact that they're building on the existing, using the existing footprint largely of the existing house.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Quite a nice rendition, by the way. There's only one condition, and that's forestry 1. Outside of that, there are no other issues.
We have a forestry condition 1? Okay.
Forestry number 1. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to move approval with that condition in mind.
Mm-hmm. And a second, Mr. Clay second. With forestry condition 1, all in favor? Approve, all in favor. So it's 8 past 5. The meeting is adjourned. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Great
Thank
job.
you.
Thanks, staff. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.